Hi, everyone. I'm Frank Malicote, anchor, reporter for KTVU Fox 2 here in the San Francisco Bay Area. My guest is a best-selling author, a social media strategist. She's an attorney, and her biggest job, she's a mom, and she's also the CEO of Influence Central. She's here to talk about the fall and holiday trends that are coming about and some of our consumer habits that probably have changed maybe just a little bit because of COVID-19. Say hi to Stacy Debroff. How are you?
Frank, thank you. What an intro. Thank you for that too.
There you go. Well, you've got quite a pedigree. I mean, can I list Georgetown and Brown and Harvard as well?
No.
No. Okay. Well, I just did. So there you go. Well, just tell us, first and foremost, tell our folks kind of what you do and how you got there with your company, Influence Central.
Sure. As part of the Influence Central, I founded our company about 10 years ago, right as social media was coming alive. I'd come out of a background of writing parenting books and being in the media, and I was struck by how consumers' behavior was dramatically changing with the rise of platforms like Facebook and Instagram and all the variations that we've seen now with TikTok about how consumers were taking control of conversations. And we have a consumer insights panel that we tap all the time for trends, in addition to working with brands on influencer marketing. So we're really on the cutting edge of seeing what's happening out there.
All right. Well, we've all been cooped up. We're a little cranky. We're a little tired. I imagine back there in Boston as well. What are some of the trends, our behaviors that may or may not have changed because of the pandemic the last 6 months?
It's interesting, Frank, because psychologists have found it takes about 66 days for us to embrace a new habit as people. And so when you think about 6 months, a lot of the behavior changes that we've seen are here to stay. One big one has been just a fundamental change in how we shop for groceries, how we've turned to online commerce of grocery pickup. We actually may be a society heading to a point where cash doesn't exist. Most people want cashless credit cards or Venmo, and you'll see stores asking for coins because people just aren't touching cash. And we've also started cooking meals at home. We've really home improvement. We're spending a lot of time around our own places. And it's just changing the way we think about the world. And even the fact that we're doing this interview via Zoom has become a new interface of today's society.
The baking thing and the cooking thing, I was good for a couple of nights a week going out. We do a little takeout on occasion now, but I have been cooking a lot, and I've actually opened up recipe books, which I'd never done before. So
you are trending. In fact, we just fielded a new survey that found that 59% of us are still on the hunt for interesting recipes. People want to figure out how to cook with pantry staples, how to do recipes with few ingredients, but a big punch at the end. And we've also become a nation of bakers. So you see flour, the shortages of flour and yeast. People are really taking time. And I think it's comforting. It's a way to gather in the kitchen, to just come and create great food. But we, instead of relying on takeout and on restaurants, we have now turned our kitchens into experimental recipe shops.
For better or for worse. Some are great, some not so great. It's also brought the families together again. I was born in the early 60s, so I was used to always having dinner with mom and dad. Leave It to Beaver was on the air in the background occasionally, and that was a big deal, and it's becoming more of a big deal because everyone's home now.
It's funny, I'm going to age myself by saying me too.
All right.
In terms of really, we've almost gone back to a retro age in which there's more time to hang out. There's kids' sports and activities have been lessened. School is virtually, and people are gathering together to talk. People are talking long distance, but there's this use of time, of downtime, and of going back to the days where people actually read books on porches or played games outside. And that's been a real impact of this pandemic, is people have slowed down.
Yeah, and that's probably not a bad thing, but it would be nice to go somewhere. That's what gets me. Sometimes I feel like a caged tiger in here. The holidays are coming. Brick and mortar stores were hurting long before this. And my guess is people are getting very proficient at buying stuff online. That trend's probably going to go up come Christmas, right?
It is. We're going to see a phenomenal outburst of e-commerce shopping and gifting this year. And in fact, given what we've been hearing about shipping and delays and people wanting to get stuff, I think we're going to start seeing the beginning of the holiday push to buy stuff, especially for people shopping online in early November. Some 70% of consumers plan to really, for the holidays, turn to shopping online. And also because of travel restrictions, COVID concerns, economics, people are going to be doing more long distance celebrating. And so it's going to really change the nature of the holidays.
You know, I've got some older friends. My brother's in his late 60s and not a big internet guy, and he's even buying stuff. So the older folks are starting to do it too, right? Just because you have to.
This trend of being comfortable with online shopping, with delivery to store and pickup, has not just been something that was already trending among a younger millennial generation and Gen Z that's rising, but what we've seen is these behaviors have reached all the way up into the boomers. And so it's really transcended generations to accelerate digital trends that were there, but with people's comfort level and the ease of doing it with via phones and iPads or tablets in addition to computers. It's changed the way people are comfortable shopping.
What about brick and mortar stores? Are they done? I mean, they were almost done before, and now they're closed or can't let people in. I mean, this is not good news for them.
It's such a true observation, Frank. I think that indoor malls, as we've known them, are done. The anchor department stores have all been going bankrupt. Amazon has been buying some malls for fulfillment centers. There's talk of indoor paintball. Who knows what the indoor mall of the future will look like. And brick and mortar sales have just dramatically reduced. People there, both in terms of the safety of limiting people in store, of people's anxiety. We had a stat that over 60% of people are just anxious when they go in store about their safety, about the experience. And so I think brick and mortar is really going to suffer a hit from this, and they simply aren't going to come back in the way that we've known them. I think that there's going to be some movement towards showcasing, where you can go into a brick and mortar and see things, but then you might order it online to ship to your home.
This might be a little ethereal, but do you think people would be more in the Christmas spirit just because we've been cooped up? You can decorate the house. It's just going to be family, keep it simple, that kind of thing.
Even though I think there will be less people, and with the economics, there might be less spending, this idea of building memories and of having special moments, of even people having an excuse to wear nice clothes. You know, people are committing, even though it's just the immediate family, we're all dressing up. It's going to be an event, and nobody's loud in yoga pants for this.
Yeah, I've been in flip-flops, I think, for 6 months now. So
exactly, flip-flops are out. And so I think that people, this idea, especially when it's been, like you said, feeling so cooped up, it feels like we don't have the freedom to do all these, what we consider to be normal, the amount of travel, of adventure, of just having casual conversations and the whole socializing that's been shut down. I think that we're going to see a lot more nostalgia of people wanting to really decorate, even starting with Halloween, of kids and pumpkins. And we see stats that parents aren't feeling comfortable trick-or-treating at strangers' houses out of concerns of COVID and concerns of food sanity, all these drumbeat of things that are building up. And I think we're going to see cascading from Halloween through Thanksgiving to the December holidays, this desire to decorate our homes, to really just put those touches on, to play even more music. And I think that you'll see a lot of brand initiatives are already focused on the holidays, and we're only in September.
I know. I think I saw the Halloween stuff the first week of August. I was like, no, not yet. Not yet. Do you think, is this here to stay? I mean, assuming we get through COVID in the next 6 months to a year, you said it takes, 40, 50, 60 days to change a habit. Have we changed for good?
I think we have. I think that when we look at the ways that we shop, Even I think that people we've come out of a high consumerism culture, and many people are realizing they just don't need that much stuff. There's been tremendous downsizing of stuff and movement of where we live, because now that more and more jobs have been proven that they can be done remotely, people are realizing they don't have to be necessarily tethered to cities. They can go different places. And I think that, but I also think that as consumers, we've become really online. We're gathering information, we're doing our shopping online. There's been a dramatic shift away from brand names into generics because some products weren't available, cost savings, and all these things are going to ripple through and continue, where we are still, even post-COVID, you're going to see more people cooking at home and more family time together, and maybe a less hectic society where people are valuing the friendships and really also investing in health and fitness, which has been a really turning point in the way that we live our everyday lives.
Keep it simple, I guess, right?
Yes.
Yeah. What's the one thing that's kind of spawned out of all this that you would consider kind of a plus in terms of innovation, the way we've changed, the way we're communicating? What would you say?
I actually think when you think about, and this is a really good thing to talk about with your families, what has been the biggest gain during COVID? What has been the biggest loss? What are those things? And I think that when you talk to people, I just did this as an exercise with my office, people talk about the drawing people close, that the people you love and the people who you hold close in your life, they are so important. These relationships are anchors for us. And I think we're going to see a lot more investment in friendships, in relationships, and holding those close. And I think that that's something that people are going to take away from this time.
Yeah. Family time, friend time, purging, keep it simple. I think we're all doing it. We may not even realize it.
Right. We might be doing it under protest, Frank, but we're doing it.
Doing it. Well, if anybody wants to get in touch with you or the work that you folks do, how do they do it?
They can come find me at influence-central.com, and I welcome sharing our consumer trends. And it's amazing talking to you, Frank, about all the fundamental ways that our lives are not going to be the same out in this new normal we're entering.
All right. Well, Stacy Debroff, thank you very much. Good luck to your Patriots this weekend, too.
Woo!
I'm a fan, as you know, being an old Boston guy. What a pleasure.
I love that.
All the best.
Thank you so much, Frank.
All right. I'm Frank Malicote. For more information, you go to newsnowfox.com. Have a great day, everybody.